Is on your television set on a Monday. Damon Hack alongside Ayman Lynch. Golf Week magazine. There's a lot of golf to consume over the weekend. What do you think of the happenings down in Texas?
It was actually an interesting weekend everywhere. It was a real banner weekend for resilience. No matter where you saw both ladies who were in the playoff, Angel Yin and Lilia Vu in Houston. Scott Kuczewski winning again after 15 years in the Corn Ferry Tour. Mark Hensby getting it done. It was a reminder that there are a lot of chapters in a professional golfer's life. Not all of them are feel good, but if you hang around long enough, good things happen.
I think resiliency is the name of this game, whether you're one of the best of all time or a rookie trying to figure things out or someone mid-career trying to figure things out. These careers just seem to go like this. I can't recall anybody who just had like a flatline career. This game just doesn't allow for it.
No, and the trick is to figure out how to deal with the potholes and highs and lows along the way. We see that all the time in this game. Just even recently, Aaron Wise withdrawing from the Masters because he said he needed to take a mental health break from this game. So it does wear and tear on these folks out there. So it's nice to see people who actually are open about those struggles and then overcome them when it matters.
Also nice to see a playoff in the first major championship of the year in the women's game. Let's take you there. A couple of California kids. Angel Yin, Lilia Vu. This is Angel Yin, the 24-year-old from L.A., her second in the par 5, 18th in the playoff.
And when they say, uh-oh, seldom good, Damon. Short left and wet.
Yeah, and scrambling right away. A shake of the head. Now, this is Lilia Vu. This is her second from 166.
Ain't it a little bit safer? Aiming for dry land on the back of the green and finds it.
Yeah, seems like a smart play, similar to where she was in regulation. So a poor lag putt led to this birdie putt for the win.
And this is putting an exclamation mark on her first major championship.
Gets it done. Caddy Cole with the belly flop. Here's Lilia on the lead.
You're the first person to jump into that pond. What was it like? And did you know all along that you were going to do that?
I think Cole and I kind of passed by on 18 during the practice round and kind of discussed, would you jump? And I was like, yeah, I would jump. If I won here, of course I would jump. Yeah, and yesterday or the day before, we saw a snake on 17 pond. So I was kind of thinking about that today, but I think emotions were high and just adrenaline. Got to jump into that pond.
Lilia's path in this game, highs and lows. #1 ranked amateur for 31 weeks, decorated player at UCLA, but just one cut made as an LPGA rookie in 2019, lost her card, and got her confidence back on the Epson Tour, got her LPGA card back for 2022, and now 2 wins in 2023, including a major championship. Now, she's given a lot of credit to her family, her father for getting her into golf, and her mother for convincing her to stay when she thought about quitting and going to law school. Her grandfather was a big influence as well.
The reason I'm here is because of my grandpa. So when my grandpa and his kids and wife fled Vietnam, he actually went away for a couple months at a time building a boat in the countryside. And one day he told my mom and her siblings, like, it's time to go. It's time to go. And I remember her telling me that her and her little sister were running through the forest to get to that boat. And my grandpa took an extra amount of people. I don't know what the capacity was, but he took extra people from the village, and I think 2 days on the boat, and they shot a flare, and I think a U.S. boat came by, and I think because there was I think the boat had a leak. And so they really needed to find someone to help them out. And then, yeah, and now my mom's here, and then she had me. And my grandpa's the reason why I'm here. And he passed away at the beginning of COVID. I was just in such a bad place with my golf game. Just everything was life or death. I just saw everybody that I've competed with being successful, and I just compared myself all the time. But now I know that everybody's journey is different and everything happens for a reason. And I was leaving for my tournament in Florida, an Epson Tour event, and my grandpa was in the hospital for his heart condition, and it seemed like he was fine, and the last thing he told me was to play my best. He's in the hospital thinking of me and my tournament. And when we came back from that tournament, my mom got a call from my aunt that Grandpa's in the ER. And that day he passed away, and that's something that I think about a lot. And even today, I was getting really upset on the course, and I just had to remind me, like, Grandpa's with you, and he'd be really disappointed if you were getting upset like this, and that you need to get your act together. Sorry. Yeah.
What's his name?
He's just Grandpa to me. I don't even know his name. Because he has a Vietnamese name.
I'll ask Mom.
Yeah, ask Mom. That's a question for Mom. He's just always been Grandpa.
Ken?
What do you think he would say, seen from your low point near when he passed to you now as a major champion?
I think he'd say that all my struggles were worth it.
It's amazing sliding doors moment for her family. Grandfather fleeing Vietnam, and some sliding doors moments for Lilia as well. Thinking about quitting the game and going to law school when she lost her LPGA card, and her mom convincing her to stick with the game, and look at her now.
It's amazing how a family's struggles can give you a certain perspective over the years. It's also very easy to lose it in this game as well. And it's rare to see somebody standing up who's just won a major championship talk about the weight of expectations, particularly her own expectations. She talked about comparing herself constantly to people that she had competed against, and why are they moving faster on the professional track than she is. And it obviously takes some time to get to that point, but she's been pretty raw and open about the desire to walk away from the game, to quit entirely. But when you hear the backstory of the family and the grandfather building the boat, and it was the USS Bruton that picked them up after 2 days, and she was correct in that there were 54 was the capacity of the boat that her grandfather built. He took 82 people on it because he wouldn't turn anyone away from the village who wanted out for a better life. And it's hard to imagine a better kind of capstone to that kind of story than seeing Lilia Vu stand there yesterday and close out a major championship.
You could really feel the emotion as she spoke and recalled those moments and memories with her grandfather, who's no longer with us, and the turbulence that she felt, the inner turmoil during a tough time for so many during COVID, losing her grandfather and not sure what she's going to do next, and her confidence level making just one cut during that rookie season. And she said also that she read books during COVID, self-help books, trying to find the confidence that seemed to be a given when she was an amateur star and a UCLA Bruin who was a Pac-12 Rookie of the Year and then Pac-12 Player of the Year. And just how do you find that joy and confidence when you've hit rock bottom?
And it was pretty close to rock bottom. In her rookie year, back in 2019, she made one cut, as you mentioned, Damon, in, I believe it was 9 starts on the LPGA Tour that year. She made $3,830 for the year. That would force anyone to start rethinking what their career path in. But this is now 6 starts this year on the LPGA Tour. She has 2 victories, and her worst finish is a tie for 14th. She is very much ascendant as one of the new American stars in this game.
And just how about the quality of her golf down the stretch, in particular in the playoff? Angel Yin is not short off the tee by any stretch. You know, Angel had 200 yards plus into that playoff 18th green, whereas Lilia had 166 yards, much shorter club, easier shot. I was just impressed with just the power that she has off the tee and how well that can translate for her going forward.
And power and poise at the right moment, because let's not forget she birdied 17 and 18 to get herself into that playoff in the first place, and to post 10 under par in the clubhouse when Angel still had the lead outright at that point.
Another successful UCLA Bruin. I'm all for it, my friend. I'm all for it.
Everything's local.